The weather continues to spoil us here in Bradenton, Florida, as the talent on full display in the 2025 Generation Adidas Cup. It's match day 2, and we're in Group F between Seattle Sounders and Daejeon Hana, citizen from South Korea of the U18s, alongside Katie Goodman, Michael Watrang, as you see what these teams are playing for the hardware for this Generation Adidas Cup here in 2025. Sounders are tied atop the table in Group F. Daejeon looking to get to that spot here today. Katie, look at the starting 11 for Seattle Sounders. Very talented 16, 17-year-olds.
Right. Keep your eye on number 43, Omar Hassan, signed recently with Tacoma Defiance. Youth national team experience there in U15 and U16, and quite the speedster from what we hear.
And then on the other side for Daejeon, they also went to penalties yesterday against New England, but they lost in penalties in their effort. Ji-ho Kim is a youth national team star in South Korea.
Yes, quite a young team out here, and Min So-kong is coming in hard with his national team experience, also here to bring up the team. You'd mentioned Hoo-min Koo, played 2 times now with South Korea's youth national team, so lots of guys to look out for here today.
It'll be a fun matchup here in Group F. One of these two teams could find themselves at the end of day number 2 atop the table, looking to place into the knockout stages of the Premier Division here at the 2025 Generation Adidas Cup. And Katie, you look at these two sides, both teams coming out of draws, coming out of penalties. They have their feet wet after day 1. What do you want to see today?
Well, you know, day by day, things get a little bit better. I think it's getting adjusted to those 30-minute halves. Both teams, both coaches on both sides have some regrets from day 1, but I think that's normal to have as you move forward into a tournament that's a long one, and again, with a different time of halves there. So hoping to see just the basics done well, and I think if you do the basics well, everything else will follow.
It's Seattle Sounders in green, it's Daejeon in the white, and we are underway here on match day 2 in Group F of the Generation Adidas Cup. Yesterday, it was a 0-0 draw for Seattle Sounders against Sockers from Illinois. They would win 5-4 in penalties in that one. 2 saves from Noah Newman in the penalty kick shootout. And then for Daejeon Hana, citizen from South Korea, they drew 1-1 against New England. They scored first. Sung-Yun Park in the 30th minute scored the opener. New England tied in the 42nd. They went to penalties, and Daejeon lost 4-2 in penalty kicks yesterday. Sockers and New England Revolution also playing right now. They are underway. So simultaneous games, and then the group stage ends tomorrow before an off day on Tuesday. Here's Leo Flores getting taken out, but it's a throw. Yesterday, Katie, we saw good tempo, good pace to these matches. And as you mentioned, in these 60-minute games, you have to come out with a flourish because you don't get that bonus 30 minutes in total, 15-minute per half, to be able to ease into matches.
Right. For some guys, it takes up to 15 minutes to find a rhythm. And so it's actually, I think, a really good thing for them moving into the rest of their season. If you can put in this kind of pace and tempo in the first 30 minutes, imagine when you go into another 45-minute half.
Ball knocked away from Sinjun Lee.
Of course, you don't want to burn out, right? So it's managing the first 10, and probably the last 10 minutes is the bigger challenge here.
Another part of the layers to this matchup. Some teams bringing in some guest players on tryouts for their respective academies. So a little bit more depth added, and also these groups in their evaluation periods trying to understand who the stars will be. This is some good, intense pressure, and it's taken away. Villard loops it forward. It's a poke away, but it rolls into the net. The pressure of Sounders provides the opening strike. Less than 2.5 minutes in.
Speed on full display there for the Seattle Sounders. They applied that high press mentality here, able to get the turnover. You got to play out of the back a little bit quicker than that if you're a Daejeon citizen. They made them pay for it here, and that's all it takes. Goal is a goal.
Leo Flores gets the benefit there. He had the initial deflection. And then he scores off of the yard pass, and it's all a mistake in the back by the keeper in this one. And that provides the opening goal.
Tough way to pay early on here, Daejeon. Again, it's a really young squad out here, U16, U17. It was a concern for coach moving into this game, but also talk about great experience.
So for the first time in this tournament, Daejeon Hana Citizen is behind. At the end, VR, 17-year-old throws it in. Songbin Im throws it to the middle of the park. He gets taken away. And a chance to see how this South Korean group resets. There's a foul. Pretty easy call there, as John Kudalaris is the man in there committing the foul.
I think we'd expect nothing less at this point, right? We need some good old-fashioned physicality. I think it was a pretty good hustle getting back, trying to stop the play. Maybe clean it up a bit and we're good.
It's a very important game. Day 2 in the group stage. When it is as tight as this, all 4 teams pulling out draws, and then that extra point being extremely valuable in the penalty shootout for Sounders in New England means that they're atop the table, but it comes down to those tiebreakers. So maybe the team that gets the first 3 points will be the team that separates. But here's a chance for Daejeon. That gets thwarted. Jiho Kip provides the pressure. It's taken over on the overlap, and it's slid away, and it's out for a corner. First one of the match here for the South Korean side.
Quality tackle there for Seattle Sounders. Always a tricky thing being in and near the box, but great stuff there.
Sinjun Lee will have the honors here of this corner kick for Daejeon. Lee goes short. Gets the return pass. It's elevated as he tries to gain the angle. Now Lee strikes. Bang to the ground. Now Sounders want to counter here. There's plenty of space for Hassan. 1v1 as he sprints in the other direction. Hassan dances around the defender, but it's very well handled in the end by Junhwang Choi.
Great work there on Daejeon to get back and get compact. Quality step there. I mean, Hassan is not a player to be taken lightly with that speed, and almost felt like he was going to have it there on that breakaway.
Yeah, we spoke with Xavi Bravo, the head coach of this Sounders U18 side, and he said the biggest thing about Hassan is the speed and the pace in which he plays. Great in 1v1 situations. That's a good early sign for Daejeon that Choi was able to stick with him. Coming back to take it away, here's Flores, the goal scorer. His pestering style forced the giveaway and provided the early goal in this one. A shade under 2.5 minutes into the match.
Another tricky situation there for the keep. That's why if you're going to go play back, you want to play with pace. If you're going to play 4 in the back, and this way, you also want to get cleats to chalk if you're that outside defender. Really spread the field and try to move it up and out. I think half the battle here is just building out of the back with quality.
Yoonwoo Cho. Woojin Chun, the keeper. Well, yesterday the wind wreaked all sorts of havoc. It's not quite as crazy today, although it is starting to pick up as we say that. But it certainly influenced a lot of the matches. Flags up here for offside against Jiho Kip.
Most of the set pieces going towards the wind were really obsolete. It was hard to really get anything going from there. And wind would ebb and flow, which added more chaos to the situation. And again, day 2, you're in a city near the beach, and so You kind of have to expect it as well. Best to keep the ball low. So you want to use the wind at your back for a more direct approach, of course.
On the takeaway here, Ku had it for a moment and then gives it right back. And now a full sprint. It's Hassan again. The 16-year-old races, but it's defended by Cho. Back for Chun. And he gives it right back to Cho as those two play back and forth. And the pressure of this Sounders group suffocating right now, and very dangerous moments being provided by their pressure.
Really an engine that doesn't stop there for Omar Hassan. Up there, he missed the ball, but didn't stop the pressure. Forced Daejeon into a bit of a rondo situation. And that's something that Coach Javi had also mentioned, was that this is a team that's very clinical. They love to study the game, and 1-2 touches, they don't want to hold on to the ball very long, and that can be a tough team to defend.
Yeah, you said that most Asian sides very academic and studious in how they play. They're typically very clean and crisp in their performance. But ultimately, Katie, one of the benefits of this tournament is you do see different styles. You see different ideas, the creativity being performed out here, and the adaptation that's required by the MLS sides in particular to play against these groups from different countries. In particular, you look at Daejeon. Back in South Korea, it's about 3:30 local time, roughly a 13-hour time differential.
That's tough. I mean, anytime you fly across the world, you need at least a week or so to really truly adjust.
Yeah, we were speaking with coaching staff about how they handle things, and he said the biggest thing that we worry about is our breakfast, just the hotel breakfast, trying to get something in our stomachs early to try to prevent that jet lag. And ultimately, in the end, they kind of said, we're here because we want to prove it on the field. It's not necessarily anything that we're going to say. It's about how our play is going to dictate the terms for us.
It's a great approach.
Just past the 10-minute mark here. It's the Sounders 1 and Daejeon Hana Sinison 0. Sounders getting the goal 2 minutes and 11 seconds in off of a giveaway that Leo Flores started. Villard fed him, and Flores put one away.
Daejeon doing really well along the right side. It seems able to build out of the back over there, get into the corner a little bit, having some success. Again, as mentioned, it's a mix of U16 and U17 guys out here for Daejeon. So you can imagine some may have a little more experience playing together for a longer period of time, and that might affect things.
And they had several players that weren't available for this because they've made the climb up to the top team. The biggest difference that they have is just the physical maturity. Hassan commits the foul. Here goes Kim. Defended by Kudalaris. Now up the park it goes. Flores has two defenders nearby. Tries to hold it up, but it ends up just going out. Or no, it hit his hand, so it's a free kick.
Let's see if they try to swing it here, go right back up the right side. It's like trying to decide. Again, this is where you need your wingers really getting wide and having a clear passing lane early on quickly. Here, Daejeon.
Oh, nearly another catastrophe. Shun has to get back to it. Some issues in the back right now by this group. It's Hassan crossing it. And it goes out of play for a corner kick. First one of the day for the Sounders.
When you see accidents like that happen, you can't help but wonder if it's the jet lag or something else involved. You know, just not putting enough pace on the ball, not thinking quickly. There's so many things that could be adding up here for them.
Daejeon was over to the opposite side, and that ball nearly rolled in. Edson Carly, the 17-year-old, hooks this ball, back post, skims one head and rolls to the opposite sideline, out for a Daejeon throw. Well, another dynamic about this Daejeon group is Min-Soo Kang, the head coach of this team, a former player with the Korean national team. This is his first spell as a head coach, so a bit of a learning experience for him as well.
I'm sure there's a lot that he can speak to in these moments, traveling abroad and just playing at the highest level and what it takes to really get there. So great opportunity for these young guys.
Son holds it up. Here's Sandness. Villard. Showcasing the dribble skill, and now twirls around from a defender. Swings this ball in. It's an empty header, but the flag is up for offside.
So unfortunate for the Sounders. I mean, talk about a perfect pass from Etienne Villard. Doesn't shock me at all, as MLS Next All-Star has spent a ton of time on the U.S. Youth National Team, but man, doing a great job to get on the end of that, completely uncontested. Maybe had he been a few steps back, it would have been good.
It was so wide open. Just salivating in front of net. And here comes Daejeon now, looking to spin its counter. Juggling attempt, no foul whistled. Villard comes back, or Hassan rather. Rolls it through one defender, touches it back. Now it is Villard. Can't keep it in. Sung Bin Im providing the pressure. Daejeon does not have a shot attempt so far. They do have a corner.
Looking for a passing lane there. They're obviously looking for a more direct approach here, have that high press mentality too, and really important to keep your center backs connected to your center middies in that moment. And if you're going to go direct like that, maybe someone checks back to open up.
First touch from Flores, unable to work it around. Chon Hin Lee. Excellent defensive work, but it comes back. Carly. Hassan, 1v1. This is where he excels. Goes down, but it's good defending. Controlling that moment. Kept in play, but it allows Daejeon. Sung-Hwan Park draws the foul, and it's our first booking as well. Abad Vargas is the man that goes in the books.
Understandable. It's a tough one to skirt by. Have a look back at it here, and got a hand over the shoulder, falling right on top of the guy you're trying to take down. It was successful. Yeah. Gonna get you booked every time. A lot of those short passes that Coach Xavi Bravo had mentioned. But if you're going to go that route, you've got to really pick up the pace.
Here's Flores. He gets shielded in the end, and Shun flies on top of it as Yoon-Woo Cho is doing well defensively to get in front and impede that. And now Hassan comes over and he commits the foul. Aggressive attacking play. And looks like there's another card coming out. This one's on Omar Hassan, a man that scored 3 goals at the Vlatko Markovic tournament, being the 2024 U15 MVP of that.
Really good at putting that pressure on here. Just got a clip of the ankles. It's going to get him booked, but it's that mentality that he has, constant high pressure, not giving up even when it seems out of reach, that is giving him some success.
Daejeon breaks the line initially. You're just seeing the skill that this Sounders group works with. Technical director Henry Bronner talked about the evaluation tool that this tournament provides. Ultimately seeing the growth and trajectory for the U18 level that should have them prepared for either the Tacoma Defiance or the Sounders.
One thing's for sure is they feel in control of this game. Calm, composed, still have that hustle.
Bayard rolls this. Hassan draws the attention of 3 defenders. Here comes this ball, sizzling back post. Hassan is over there, heads it down. Chun knocks it away. Fine defensive work, not out of trouble yet though. Our Daejeon, Bayard, Hassan curls this ball around and Chun is there.
Really quality save here from Chun. That ball in quite a sketchy position, able to close it down, get a paw on it. And again, denies Omar Hassan for his second attempt. Maybe one of those situations where you're getting a little antsy trying to put it in the box and there's just not a clear passing lane or opportunity.
A corner kick given here. Just past the 20-minute mark. Michael Watrain, Katie Goodman, and our terrific MLS production group with you for this matchup. And a corner kick for Sounders, leading at 1-0 thanks to the goal from Leo Flores less than 3 minutes in. Carly whips this ball in, outswinger, and a foul whistled inside of the 18. Looked like it was Gallatin Sandness. That was right in the middle of everything. Well, if you're Daejeon right now, how do you try to become more attacking in this sequence before halftime?
Well, they're having a lot of success up that right side, so you see that they continue to favor that side. I think it's maybe having a discussion with what's going on the left. Can you contract and expand at a faster rate and try to move up in a different way, or even through the middle? Because right now they're getting shut down on both sides, really. And it's hard when you're constantly in a defensive mode right now. They're really compact. They're doing a great job to move as a unit defensively, but it's when they flip into the offensive mindset that they're struggling a bit.
Sounders have had their finger on the pulse of this match since the start. And that ball whistles out. 6 players on this group. MLS Next Pro experience for the Sounders. It's the true definition of the player pathway within this group. From the academy level to Next Pro to the first team with their homegrown talent. They provided the 2-time Generation Adidas Cup champions. Lead 1-0. Excellent slide tackle. Keeps possession for a moment as the wind begins to howl. The captain, Yoonwoo Cho, settles it down. Here we go. Sungwon Park. Sun Hyuk Lee. And now rolls beyond Cho. Will there be an attacking moment for Daejeon? Yesterday when they scored, it was Park that scored right at the end of the first half, just before the final whistle against New England Revolution to make it 1-0. before settling for a penalty kick loss in the first game of the group stage. Lee. Now it's Kim angling it along. Nobody was making that run, however. Just feels like right now Daejeon is just missing that one little ingredient, that one puzzle piece to connect everything in the attack.
I think a lot of it is the center midfielders staying connected with the defense and the offense. It's a grueling job, but it has to be done by someone. I love that check back there from Songbin Im. He was able to come in, try to give a passing lane, and that's half the battle, is setting up your defenders for success by giving them passing lanes, whether you're center midfielder or center striker. It's the movement off the ball is where you're going to find more success.
This ball played into space. Songbin Im forces the turnover. Here's Jiho Kim. Kim pushes this ball through the 18, but it gets cleared away. And with about 6 minutes to go before halftime, 30-minute halves for 60-minute games in Generation Adidas Cup. So closing in on the end of half one. Ten groups of 4 teams in Generation Adidas Cup. Each of the 10 group stage winners goes to that premier bracket, and then the top 6 finishers of the second place sides get the next 6 to enter that bracket. So this is a valuable game for one of these two sides, and you would think Daejeon, if they lose this game, might be impossible at that point to win the group. It would be very difficult to try to get that number 2 position with 1 game left, as they would play Sockers, that terrific academy out of Illinois.
It's great that these guys have the experience of playing under so much pressure, of having to move forward in a longer tournament. Helps to give them a better idea of what's to come in the future.
This ball arced over the top. Villard chases it down, but ultimately runs out of real estate looking for the ball. Well, we've seen at halftime of these matches, teams make wholesale changes, and you wonder what these two groups might be looking at here on day 2, with a 3rd day tomorrow before an off day on Tuesday.
Got Daejeon starting to warm up some of their guys over there, so might see some changes going into the half. Hard to say for Seattle Sounders because they're doing a pretty solid job there. I know something that Coach Xavi Bravo wanted to improve on was building out of the back.
That's a brilliant ball forward. Ultimately, though, losing his pace was Ko.
Unfortunate. That was some of the best stuff we've seen on the left side here.
Here's some of that quick passing that we heard so much about for Daejeon. Does it lead to a shot? Songbin Im rolls it forward. Here's Ko. Looks for space, leaves it up top. First shot of the game gets blocked away. Yoon was trying to make an opportunity. Here's Ko now, pushing that ball out, but a promising few moments there if you're Daejeon.
Absolutely great stuff. Just the composure on the ball. Great with the ball at their feet as well. Good just to get a look at goal.
Here's a giveaway. Kim taps it forward. Choi arcs this ball around, and it gets headed away. Noah Newman would have controlled that, but not taking any chances there was the captain, Sandis. And it's a second corner of the match here for Daejeon with a couple minutes to go in the first half.
Really good opportunity for them here, but again, the wind is completely against them. Crosswind. They want to look for a lower driven pass.
Sinjun Lee has the honors here. Second corner of the match, both from that sideline. Lee arcs this ball deep into the sky. Newman is there. That is a sturdy catch from Noah Newman, the 17-year-old goalkeeper who made 2 saves and penalty kicks yesterday. And now he tries to ignite the break in transition. Here comes Sounders. A stumble in the midfield leads to a giveaway, and now a ball over the top. Kim chases it down. Kim gets another corner as you take another look at what Noah Newman just pulled off.
Incredible ball in and able to get up and meet it with those sticky gloves. That's not going anywhere. Helps towering over the vast majority of the players there in the box. But, I mean, all in all, really composed. And, again, just a great presence there in goal.
On the last 5 minutes, Daejeon have been terrific and dynamic, showing a different element to the attack. Will it lead to an equalizing goal here before halftime? Lee goes short yet again. Koo plays it back. Lee looks for an angle as he tosses it back. It's Park. Park swings the leg. Park with a dynamic strike from long distance. Academic indeed for the Korean group, tying the score in the final minutes before half.
Excuse me while I pick my jaw up off the ground. Some great one-touch passing. He wastes no time to set himself up, and it's that low-driven ball. Wind can't deny it. Neither can the keep. Quality stuff there from Park. Really a next-level finish.
He scored the opening goal in the 30th minute yesterday. Today, it's the 29th minute. And Park with one of the goals of the tournament ties the score for Daejeon as they get a reward for their fine showing in the final 5 of the first half.
Goes to show you can really control and dictate a vast majority of the game, but if you switch off for even a few minutes, you might pay for it, especially at this level, at this kind of tournament.
So into stoppage time we go. Just 1 minute of stoppage time here, and what a difference that little sequence makes for Daejeon, because instead of going into the half wondering where you're going to be, you could be tied, but danger here. Veyard throws this ball across. Clearance, skies. Hassan probing. Sandness back, and now just shoveled down the field. Kim is going to give chase, but he's going to pull the shoot, and Sandness will drift back. And now if you're Sounders, you felt like you had the entire plot on your pen in the first half hour, but instead things get erased, and now you start afresh, and it's a different mindset now going into half 2.
That it is, and it's, you know, every minute that passes, you're learning more about the other team. So that's what I love about second half in any game that you're watching, is things change up a bit. I think if Daejeon can clean up moving out of the back, that they're really going to be able to hold on to this.
The first half whistle blows, and it is quite the finish to the opening 30 minutes here in Bradenton, Florida. Sounders score in the first 2 minutes. Daejeon gets one in the final 2 minutes. And it is a 1-1 game here in Group F of the U18s in the 2025 Generation Adidas Cup.
You ready? MLS is game on. Dochi? On. Stars on.
Kevin Sullivan, the history maker.
30,000 friends? On. Rivalries on.
Red Bull New York versus New York City.
MLS, this is our soccer. Game on.
my vibe.
What a start to day 2 at the Generation Adidas Cup. Real Salt Lake in Copa America down to the wire, down to the shootout. Salt Lake takes it 3-1. Here to get the extra point. AJ Ricketts, Kalen Carr. Let's take a look at it. Took less than 2 minutes to have their first chance. But tell you what, in goal, Teolino was fantastic.
Yeah, Parker getting sprung in on a lovely ball in from Peralta and finds it. And this was the second half where the moment switched instantly. It's great pressure from América. Benitez wins the penalty and Ramos steps up. Coolly finishes.
The entire complexion of the match changing on that one moment. Ramos converting from the spot. All of a sudden, Real Salt Lake with their backs against the wall after a huge win against Philly yesterday. But Rylan Hashimoto to the rescue in the 52nd.
Yeah, and Salt Lake, give them credit. They didn't panic. They continued to pick and probe in the wide areas. And then when they found Hashimoto in the far half space, how about this for individual brilliance? Sets him up so well to think he's going left, cuts right, and then picks out that back post. Big time play to bring them back in it.
Nearly completed the comeback before kicks from the spot on this sequence, which just went off the crossbar. Agonizing stuff for Salt Lake, and so the pressure rises. To the shootout we go, and it was a positive start for Club America.
Yeah, Luna steps up with a big time save here on the first penalty, and you thought maybe it was going to be problems for Real Salt Lake, but then they were able to find their foothold, and then they substitute. Loveridge comes in, makes a save, and then puts pressure on Club America. Desperately unlucky to miss that one in the end there. But Real Salt Lake won't mind at all, circling around their goalkeeper, Loveridge. Important result for them.
Celebrations once more for Real Salt Lake. They're in great position after 2 matches at the GA Cup. LAFC, a dominating performance from the jump. 3 minutes in, they were on the board. They're off and running from there. No problems today with Ulsan HDFC from South Korea. AJ Ricketts, Kalen Carr. Let's take a look how it all started. Boy, set pieces were the name of the game for LAFC today. Jorike got the scoring started.
Yeah, and Ulsan HD had a high line, and LAFC did a good job to recognize it. It's a wonderful ball in here from Jorike to ask questions with runners coming across. It freezes the goalkeeper, but what a start for LAFC.
Not long after that, off a poor clearance from in goal. It doesn't get much simpler than this from 8 yards out.
Yeah, it's good pressure. It could sort of sense that the tide was turning when the ball goes back. That's the trigger to press forward. And the direct play from LAFC caused problems from Ulsan HD. Second balls went all their way, and then the individual ability to get to the end line and the presence of mind from Jorike to cut back. It's a wonderful ball that comes back to Torres, who strikes it first time. Really good contact, but this ability to get into the wide areas we saw throughout the match. Thomas again, it's almost a exact carbon copy of the goal just prior, but this time it dropped back to Carmona, and how about that for a strike? Just knuckles right into the back of the net. Fantastic strike there from Carmona.
Sordo, Torres, Carmona with goals, and Navarro would get the 5th. Right place, right time, off the crossbar.
Yeah, and it's so important in tournament play to have set pieces down, and delivery is the most important component. Jorike was strong throughout that, and nice finish there from Navarro to put in the back of the net.
LAFC with 5 goals, LAFC with 3 points.
attractive. I'm hanging on like a fridge to a magnet. It's a jigsaw with all the right pieces. You and me, we go good together. You and I go good together. You and I, we go good together. We go good together.
You ready? MLS is game on. Don't you? On. Stars on.
Kevin Sullivan, the history maker.
10,000 friends on. Rivalries on.
Versus New York City.
MLS, this is our soccer. Game on.
And we welcome you back here to Generation Adidas Cup. It's Seattle Sounders and Daejeon Hana Citizen in the U18 Group F. The South Korean side taking on the two-time Generation Adidas Cup champions. Michael and Katie back with you. And Katie, it didn't take very long for us to see what Seattle Sounders could do. It was all about the pressure that led to the opening goal.
That high press mentality, that relentlessness and unwillingness to give up. As you can see there, putting the keeper under some pressure. It's Leo Flores Gonzalez who ends up making him pay in the end. As time went on, Daejeon still working to find their way out of pressure, cleaning up things on defense. But again, a goal's a goal there. Leo made it happen.
So that was the opening goal, and then it was nearly another catastrophic moment here. The keeper's well off his line, and it's very fortunate that Chun was able to get over there and knock it away. But how about this brilliance, though, from Daejeon? It's Sung-Hyung Park yet again, second goal in as many games.
An absolute next-level goal there, I think, completely unexpected. You see they're very clinical in the attack and not wasting any time to put that zinger of a goal away.
Park scores for the second consecutive game, and that ties it. That came in the 29th minute, right at the end of the first half, to make it a 1-1 game with 30 minutes to go. And here in Group F, where all four teams drew on day one, critical matchup here. And match day 2 in the second half begins with Daejeon Hana Citizen in control of possession. Wearing the white kits, it's the green for Seattle Sounders. Michael Watring, Katie Goodman, and our dynamic MLS production team here on site in Bradenton, Florida for the 2025 Generation Adidas Cup. Villard crosses it in, and it gets knocked away.
Wind once again roaring. Interesting to see how things change here for Daejeon. It felt like they were wanting to be more direct in the beginning. They'll have more success doing that, obviously, with the wind at their back.
Couple changes for Sounders at halftime, John. But Jan Kika comes in, as well as Mitchell Emert are the two in for Sounders, making those two changes. You're seeing a little bit of a different look in the eyes right now of Daejeon. Finding that confidence. A group that has now scored in each of their games. 1-1 was the draw against New England Revolution, but couldn't win penalties. They missed a couple of those. It's now whistled against the Sounders, and a free kick here for Daejeon. Bayard comes all the way out, so our official has to push him back before this free kick. This ball rotates low, cleared away by Sounders. There's nobody on that side of the field other than Jong-Hwang Choi. Everybody races forward, and the Sounders have to bring that ball back.
It's potentially a really good opportunity there for Daejeon to see how they defend as a unit offensively. Sounders able to split forwards. I think that's really the key difference, is Sounders do a great job of not really letting it get too far back. Defending offensively, as say.
Yeah, their pressure has been something that Daejeon is starting to get a little bit more comfortable in, if you can call it that, but still under a great deal of stress as this ball loops forward. Here's Ji-ho Kim, the youth national star for Korea. Finds some space. Kim releases this ball, and it ricochets off of the defensive effort there by Harper Makolasi.
You see the quality of Kim there. Able to break some ankles. Really great on the ball with the ball at his feet. But a better effort here from Sounders, just denying that opportunity.
So Sinjun Lee ready for this corner kick, and we've seen the creativity of Daejeon on these set pieces. That's how they scored their goal at the end of the first half. Lee hits this ball across. Newman leans back. That long frame of his collects those balls anywhere near the 6.
Great work in positioning himself as well. He's not going to let that one go by. And really, when you looked at his goalkeeping effort, it was a tough one to expect from that distance. Even still, he made a really good effort to get there, but it's just a better shot.
Sounders winning the Generation Adidas Cup back in 2019, 1-0 against Valencia, and then in 2022, the U17 group beat Tigres 2-0. The two-time champion of Generation Adidas Cup. This ball stays in play. The wind aids in that. Now Kim races after it. Kim chips it around one defender. Kim hits this ball high. You just see the dynamic play that he can provide in the attack.
Yeah, doing a great job turning on a dime there. Able to chase it down, but doesn't panic. As you can see there, nice little cut back. Just a little bit too much of an oomph on it on the finish. It's going to be annoying how many times I talk about the wind, but I think there was some responsibility there for that.
Daejeon's first team playing in the K-League 1. Number 1 team through 9 matches, 5 wins already on the season, 3 clear the top spot in the 12-team league. The Academy team looking to upset an MLS side. Dirks. Dirks back on it. Dirks doesn't get enough on that to really test Woo Jin Chun.
Great movement to get a look at goal, though, just changing things up. Half the battle of being a dynamic attack is changing things. So good effort.
That ball rolls out of play for a throw. Keaton Prey, one of the 3 guest invitees of this Sounders group. One of the other positives of this tournament is these teams can bring in kids from IMG Academy in particular, but also locally, regionally, to give them a look on a test trial. And a lot of those players, you'll see, make their way to the MLS Next Pro sides and the academies as years go along.
It's really an incredible opportunity for everybody. Some of those guys on trial, Keaton Bray, Harper Nicolaisi, all guys looking to earn a spot with the Seattle Sounders. Ref working to manage the game and settle things down.
Well, the officials understand what's at stake as well in these matches, particularly here in Group F. All 4 teams drawing on day 1. Kim sprints. Kim again trying to get the angle here against Prey. Jockeying for position, and it's Kim that is the last man to touch it. Well, if you're on a guest tryout, I guess if you're Prey, what a challenge it is against the youth national from Korea.
Yeah, I mean, he's got speed, he's got height, physicality. It's giving him a run for his money.
And now Chan Hee Lee is the first man booked in this match for Daejeon. And another change here for Sounders. It's Eric Collins coming in. He replaces Jordan Dirks.
Seems that goal for Daejeon really breathed some life into this team. They're looking more confident. Even the way that they're building out of the back is much better. Passes are cleaner. It's interesting how much of this game is just mental.
3 defenders converge. That ball flies perfectly, however, for Carly. Daejeon able to retreat. Carly punches it through. Majin Kika out wide. Veyard curls this ball in. Headed away by Lee. Only as far as the top of the 18. Tight defending from Daejeon. And it leads to a chance to run. Kim waits for it. Gets an excellent initial touch. Kim is in. Kim shoots. Newman denies.
Absolute excellent first touch there from Kim. Sets himself up for success. And what a ball in. He holds his run just long enough to stay in the game. Maybe only note here, maybe cutting in a little more towards goal, but all in all, just really great stuff and really putting pressure on the keep here.
You see the quality of those 2 young men. First Kim and then Newman. Best chance of the second half so far. And now the goal scorer, Sung Hwan Park, heads over to the corner flag to take this corner. The first time that his services have been needed off of a corner. He scored the goal that tied the score just before halftime. Park loops this ball around. The ball headed towards the middle of the area, and then Kim takes the volley attempt off the back for another corner. Appeals for a handball, and a penalty will not be heard.
Once again, another opportunity here. It almost feels like a goal's imminent. Don't want to jinx anybody. Let's look back at it. Ball is in. It's a scramble. It's not able to connect, but it's that drive. Would have been good. Had the Sounders not been there. Sean Brune stepping in.
Lee swings this ball in. Newman collides. It doesn't touch anybody in the end, and it's out for a goal kick, and we're going to get our first change from Daejeon. In Young-soo is the first change, replacing Song Bin-im. Seattle Sounders are going to make a change as well. Keaton Prey is going to come out. And Braden Smith is the man summoned onto the field. Remember, 60-minute game, so we're less than 20 minutes to go here in this one. Tied at 1 in Group F. Sounders tied with Revolution for the top spot with 2 points. Daejeon and Sockers tied with 1 point in the third spot. Looking to make that push here before the final day of the group stage tomorrow. Good balance. Collins breaks away. Collins taps this ball through. Rolled all the way across and behind the back of Carly. Edson Carly, a goal in 4 appearances so far for the MLS Next Pro Sounders, Tacoma Defiance. And he also scored the opening goal in the 2025 U.S. Open Cup in the first round against Washington Athletic in that 3-1 win for Tacoma. Open Cup play, of course, picks up again this week before the MLS sides join the fray after third round play. A lot of credit has to go to Min Soo Kong with what he's been able to produce with his side. Through the first 25 minutes, it was rather bleak. They had no shot attempts. They were struggling to hold on to possession, really even trying to find possession outside of their own defensive third. And all of a sudden, it has really become quite the stalemate here between these two sides. And you could even argue Daejeon has been the better side in the second half.
I would completely agree with that, especially on the attack. Really clinical there. It's almost like they needed to kind of brush the rust off a little bit, get some of those touches getting a little bit cleaner, faster pace. But again, it's so hard to come back from that. I was going to say, it's so hard to come back from when you're making silly mistakes and things like that. Again, such a mental matchup, and coach did a great job getting them back in it. And of course, that goal I know really helped.
Well, here's where we stand with about a quarter hour to go in this matchup. Veyard picked out Flores in the 3rd minute to give the Sounders a 1-0 edge. But they would only produce one more shot the rest of the half, and then off of a corner kick, Sung Hwan Park finishing a brilliant strike from 22 yards away to tie the score at 1. And that's where we sit right now. 1 apiece. A quarter hour to go in this matchup between MLS side Seattle Sounders and South Korean group Daejeon. Here we go, out wide, and a sprint here for Majan Kika. Arcs it around. Collins brings it in. Collins out wide. Here's Carly throwing it all the way across and on the back post. It's just out of the reach of Bayard in the end. And out for a goal kick.
You see why Bayard was part of the all-star group. I mean, he played the outside back position well. He gets up into the attack, so much so that they've perched him up there as a right winger.
And he and Majan Kika have almost switched roles. Majan Kika is now the right back, and Bayard have moved up the field with Omar Hassan coming off at halftime.
We've also moved Nam Ji-yoon. Number 13 was originally playing defensive midfield role. Moved him up more into the attack. I think that's helped him out here in this half.
Collins measuring. Now chips this ball. They aren't. Out wide. Sprinting around. Flores, the goal scorer for Sounders. Emert. A surge here for the Sounders. Excellent ball over the top. Emert, the 16-year-old. Halftime change. Shuffles around the first defender, but the ball too much on it. Taken away by the second. It's a good turn and advantage played forward here. Plenty of options in space. Kim laces this ball across, and it's fine defending there by Majan Kika.
Really a great read. Something that Coach Xavi Bravo had mentioned was in the last game, they really struggled to build out of the back. They're doing a great job in that first half. I think now that they have a little bit more pressure on them, they're struggling once again to get some of those passes, moving a little bit cleaner, setting their attack up for success. Again, it's about getting in more dangerous positions, running in behind the back line. A lot of that starts with your defense.
You mentioned Coach Xavi Bravo, man that knows Asian teams well. He spent 4 years as the academy director in Hong Kong, overseeing the U15, U16, and U17. He was the former technical director for Barca Residency Academy as well. So when it comes to these international competitions, when it comes to Generation Adidas Cup, few men have the knowledge that Xavi Bravo has. And he very much entered this match understanding the skill set and the talent of this Daejeon Hana citizen. Great to have you with us here with about 12 minutes to go before perhaps penalties for a second consecutive game for these two sides. Sounders 1, Daejeon Hana citizen 1, alongside Katie Goodman and our excellent MLS broadcast crew. Michael Watrang with you here in Bradenton. This is Collins shooting. It's a save by Chun. It hits the post to keep it out.
Collins doing such great work just to get into a scoring position. He's got that strong physicality, able to push his way through that back line and just shy. Get this build out here, a great ball in, unmarked, just tries to get a tip on it. Keep even better there, Chun. Great work.
That's all you can ask from a goalkeeper in these games, right? Just make one save to keep you in it, and that, after the mistake that he made that conceded the goal in the 3rd minute, that's a redemption moment.
And in his defense, he wasn't set up for success when that happened. It was a not so great pass back, and he's trying to make something of it. What matters is that you move forward from those moments.
A tug of the jersey and a foul as well, with Hwon Min Koo making the run. The yellow card as well. Another chance here on a free kick for Daejeon. This ball rolled forward. Gets the angle right. Newman backpedals, and he catches again. He's over everybody.
Tough situation to be in if you're Daejeon, because it's a nice lob in, but got this towering keeper who's able to just swoop it every time.
Kim lays it forward. Yun. Park dashes through the middle, runs into resistance by way of 3 defenders. Choi. Collins with the slide tackle takes it away. And here come the Sounders now in transition. Collins the target. Collins 1v1. Races to the touchline. Kept in play. Excellent effort by Chen Hee Lee. Kim begins his run. Doesn't latch on to him.
Feeling things start to perk up again here. Only a few minutes to go. Chen Hee Lee with an amazing save. Not overcommitting, keeping that ball from being a corner kick opportunity. It's like a whole new back line.
Daejeon off of one leg, rolls to the sideline. Villard laces it backwards. Sean Brun, a 17-year-old, flips it out to midfield.
Loses possession here again. You know, it's easy to get the nerves going pretty high when it's just minutes counting down, but it's probably the most important time to be really composed. Also, for the Sounders, doesn't seem to be that same tempo defending offensively. They have that high press.
Flag goes up here for offside as Hoo-min Koo was making that run.
As mentioned, the Sounders had that high press going really well in the first half, and I know there's some different personnel up there, but it might also be tiredness, hard to say. But it's allowing Daejeon to really build out of the back a lot easier.
Collins lays it back, starts his run. Collins evades a defender to get space. Not enough on the return pass from Flores. Collins again. Off of a Daejeon defender. Corner kick for the Sounders. Their third of the match.
Have to be aware of not overhitting this one.
Daejeon going to use a substitute. Ha Yun-soo is being called upon here. And it's Ji-ho Kim that is the man coming out. Interesting that perhaps your best goal scorer, at least on the international stage, the man with maybe the most creativity, coming out, corner in and over everybody. And with penalties perhaps looming as well, you bring him out. Villard turns it around. Will there be a late stunner in this one of the group stage of the U18 level, Group F, of Generation Adidas Cup?
Yeah, hard to say what the explanation is there for bringing Kim out. He's been such a big piece of the puzzle here. Hyun Soo-yu with some big shoes to fill.
Choi. Choi throws it through the middle. Now top this ball goes. Viard stumbles. Collins whiffs. Yoon has it. Yu. Collins. It's the return pass. Keeps it in play as he arcs it into the sky.
Great save there from Collins.
Space again on this right side. Here's Yo. Dashes through the middle. Fine defending to take it away, however. That's Braden Smith. Collins. Final couple minutes of this matchup. Off of one head, and it rolls to Flores. Loose inside of the 18, and Chun comes out to swarm on top of it. Long ball across the field. Flag goes up for offside.
Few minutes looming, you know there's going to be some extra time, so still plenty of time to make things happen here if you're the Sounders. They're going to have to really start stringing together some quality, clean passes, start building that momentum.
Sounders came out with such a flourish. Bayard feeding Flores for the opening goal. Just about 130 seconds into this match. And then in the final 5 minutes, Daejeon were able to get something cooking off of set pieces. And it led to a Park goal from long distance. One of the goals of the tournament so far. Here's this ball in. It's knocked down. The shot attempt beats Chun. It's Leo Flores for the second time. And with 90 seconds to go, Sounders lead by a goal.
Leo once again in the nick of time. What a ball in. Great work there, getting on the end of it. And another, once again, quality pass in. He's got time, completely uncontested, but it's that first touch that sets him up for success. And it's a quality finish that gets him the goal. Off the half volley. Impossible for Cheon to get there.
How about that performance? Leo Flores, 2 goals. And Daejeon are going to use another change here just at the end of this one. Kyu-song Choi is coming in, and he replaces Nam Ji-yoon. And you have to be a little bit startled right now if you're Daejeon. Not a lot of time left to make amends.
Body.
3 minutes of stoppage time. 3 more minutes for Daejeon to try to get something out of this. And what would be a heartbreaker after playing so well for much of this game.
It's kind of the tail of the tape in the first half, but on the flip side, and once again, that's why you got to be stitched tight on defense. get too comfortable.
Appeals for a handball, not hurt. Seattle are going to make another change. Brian De Silva, an extra defensive man coming onto the field. Just about everybody in uniform for Seattle will have played now in this game. Our man of the match, presented by Adidas, is Leo Flores coming out. 2 goals. 1 in the first couple minutes, 1 in the last couple minutes. Sandwiched around Daejeon's goal. And will provide likely the winning goal that ultimately could be something that propels the Sounders into the knockout stage as the group stage winner.
With so many teams going to PKs lately, it would be nice to shave off a little bit of time and just get a good quality win moving into the next game.
Yellow card here. That's on Edson Carley. Threw that ball over his back. Official standing right there. Well, if you're Daejeon Hana citizen, you have 11 players at the U16 level and the rest are at the U17 level. This is a young group. It's a good learning experience without a doubt. And they showcase themselves something to be proud of after this matchup against the Sounders. Just disappointing that they weren't able to see this one all the way out and at least force penalties.
Sometimes these are the games that you take with you into the rest of your career, you know, and understanding ebbs and flows of the game and those huge shots that you'll never forget, that'll always be burned into your memory. The letdowns, all of it, it's part of the learning process.
Maybe not enough time for Daejeon to get anything going. They have to go fast now, just past that 3-minute mark. Nobody there in a white kit until it comes here. No question the last chance for Daejeon. It has to be fast. A foul is given. Sounders with that intentional foul there.
He's going to try to let him play on if he had advantage. Just not going to work out.
Collins pounces. Collins knows the time situation here. Runs towards the corner flag, holds this one up. Collins playing keep away. Fine performance from Collins as a substitute in the second half. Draws the foul, and there's a full-time whistle. It's a late goal from Leo Flores that propels the Sounders to the top of Group F. A brace from Flores and a 2-1 victory as the Sounders take out Daejeon of South Korea.
A club that worked through the highs and the lows to get it done. Leo Flores Gonzalez leading the way with that first, sealing the deal with the second. Incredible work there. You got to hand it to Daejeon. Also working against the elements, the time, everything, being in a whole new country, younger. They did a great job, all things considered.
A fine performance in this one and terrific work by Sounders to start the game well and to ultimately end with a flourish and produce a victory here in this one by a 2-1 tally, and they rise to the top of Group F with one more match to go. And what a match it will be. It will be the Sounders against New England Revolution for the top spot in Group F. And what do we have coming up the rest of today? Here in this one, it'll be a 4:30 kick It is Inter Miami against Club Bolívar. That coming up at 4:30 here on MLS's YouTube channel. And we'll have 4 games coming up here as well, just a little bit later on here today. As we welcome you up here to our broadcast perch, Michael Watring, Katie Goodman, and the man of the hour, Leo Flores, a brace in the Sounders' 2-1 win over Daejeon from South Korea. And Leo, walk me through those 2 goals that you scored here today.
I mean, there's not a lot to say. I finished the chances and we scored, so that's it.
First and foremost about that first goal, the pressure that you provided to get that turnover. What's the mindset that you have to provide that pressure?
Just keep going, don't stop, and just keep putting pressure no matter what.
There are a lot of ebbs and flows in the game. You know, moments of really good momentum, high intensity, again, ebbs and flows. How do you kind of get through those low moments to get all of you back in the game? Because really it was that last goal that did it for you.
I mean, just keep your head up and talk to your teammates. Pretty much what matters. Yeah.
How did it feel just slotting that last one away? It was such a good quality goal.
I mean, it felt really good. Obviously, I did knee slide. I have a couple burns, but it's worth it, so.
Absolutely worth the battle scars.
Yeah.
Leo, let's take a look at these goals that you scored here in this one as you see the pressure that you provide on this first opportunity. But how about this feed that you get from Etienne Villard as well to be able to put you into a good position to score this goal?
I mean, it was a great pass. Look at that. And I barely beat the keeper to it, so that's pretty good.
And then this second goal, it's right at the end. Daejeon had a pretty good second half. Knowing that you went to penalties yesterday, knowing what's at stake, what's going through your mind here on this touch?
Just finish it, bro. Just finish it. I scored, so that's all that matters.
And finish it, indeed, you did. Final question for you. Playing in Generation Adidas Cup, what's it mean to have this kind of exposure and experience?
I mean, it means a lot to all these players. Just good experience for, like, the next step, and it just means a lot.
Leo, thanks so much for the time. Congrats on the win. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you.
That's Leo Flores, a brace for the Sounders here in this matchup, a 2-1 win over Daejeon Hana Citizen, and the Sounders to the top of Group F. Wrapping up our coverage here today for my partner, Katie Goodman, and our entire crew. I'm Michael Watring signing off. One more game coming up in just about 45 minutes. Inter Miami and Club Bolívar. Talk to you then. Thanks so much for watching.
This copyrighted broadcast of the 2025 Generation Adidas Cup may not be retransmitted, reproduced, or rebroadcast without the express written consent of Major League Soccer and Player Development, LLC.